Jeremy Weiss here. We're here live at RetailX. I'm here with Ken from ThrasIO. Ken, tell people what you and the company does.
Yeah, so we are a Amazon private label FBA acquisition and operation company. So we were kind of founded, really the idea, the genesis of the business was 2-3 years ago. We really started acquiring FBA businesses in earnest, I would say in November of last year. And then over that time frame, we've acquired 15 plus businesses. And we basically are a wholly owned company, and we have a team of 50 plus people that operate the businesses on a day-to-day basis.
So from people who are looking to sell
Yes.
or selling now, what do you look for? Eventually, I feel like everyone wants to sell at some point.
Yeah, and there's every buyer has a different strategy. So our strategy is we look for revenue levels 1 to 10 million on a trailing 12 months basis, and then we love everyday mundane product categories. So sustainable evergreen demand. We don't like technology obsolescence risk, no fashion risk, no fads. We're not going to go out and buy the next fidget spinner company, for instance.
Damn, I had one for you.
And then I think we're a little differentiated as a buyer because we have a portfolio of brands, and that portfolio is growing on a monthly basis with every acquisition we do. So we actually look for low SKU count, which I think is a little bit of a differentiator, whereas most sellers in the Amazon ecosystem are diversifying. Oftentimes they're actually diversifying the business, moving into unprofitable channels, unprofitable SKUs, running into cash flow and inventory management issues. So those are kind of the top criteria we look for.
You recommend people go... That's how you know we're live, because there's just loudspeakers, but we'll wait for this person to stop. Did you hear that? You can? Okay. Well,
Talk over.
yeah,
Come on, Jared.
I guess I'll just talk over it, but I guess talk about a client success story, like someone who sticks out to you as an interesting acquisition.
Yeah, so we're a little bit cagey on our actual brands we've acquired, just because it's the Amazon ecosystem. But I could say it was a home goods product, and they were doing around 1.5 million a year in revenue. We took it over. We completely redid packaging, creative, listing optimization. It was actually like a concentrate product, so we actually diluted the product, really highlighted the offering, and over the past 3 months, we're now on a 5 million annualized run rate in revenue. So a lot of times the businesses we're buying, it's a solo entrepreneur. Maybe they have a team of virtual assistants, but they don't have the expertise in all the different categories and functionality that it takes to run a successful Amazon business. So we have expertise in supply chain, marketing, creative, product development, operations. So we're able to really leverage the entire P&L of a business when we acquire it, and that's just a great example. And on average, we've grown EBITDA 50+% for all the businesses that we've acquired on a rolling 12 months basis.
Since you're really, you're a really big numbers person, you dig into the numbers.
Yeah.
What are some of the big mistakes you see people making? I'm sure that it translates into their financials.
Yeah, I think I touched on it before. It's the spreading yourself too thin just for the, sleep at night, I call it. Peacefulness of
Think they're diversifying.
Yeah, they might have a hero SKU, on Amazon or a product listing, but they get nervous that it's going to get shut down overnight, or they're going to get hijacked, which happens, right? So it's a valid concern, but the problem is when you're strapped and you're growing and you're cash strapped, you have to decide where to allocate your working capital and what's the best return on that investment, right? So oftentimes we see people, adding variations, adding new products, and taking their eye off the ball of their key product. That's probably the key profit generator for the business. And then I would also say diversifying across Shopify and your own direct-to-consumer. I know that's a big theme and everybody, but at the same time, it costs a lot of money. The customer acquisition costs are extremely different, Amazon versus direct-to-consumer. So you got to make sure you actually have the metrics and the P&L to be able to go out and acquire those customers profitably. And that's the beauty of Amazon. You get, millions and millions of customers every day that are coming to the marketplace.
You don't have to
traffic. Yeah, I mean, you got to pay 25 to 27% for the traffic, but you're not responsible for driving it. And if that's not a core competency, it's not going to be a successful strategy.
I could see, two sides. People want to sell their business. It's doing really well. They're transitioning about. I could also see people, they're tired of it and they want to get rid of it and it's maybe going down. Yeah. I'm curious of some of the maybe nightmare stories you've seen of people coming to you as far as what's happened, maybe on Amazon or in their business, like kind of the cautionary tale for people running Amazon businesses.
Yeah, I think one of the, something that we've seen a lot, and I'd caution people against, is when they decide to sell their business and maybe they list their business with a broker, they kind of just think that it's going to sell. And that's not the case. You need to continually to keep running the business. We had an instance where the buyer actually stopped ordering inventory because they thought they were going to sell the business, and the deal didn't, we actually didn't come to terms. We didn't even sign an agreement, letter of intent, and they came back to us in 3 months, and it was just the business had completely fallen apart. He was stocked out for over a month. So you just have, there's always something that can happen, but there's just a lot of, businesses can decline. It happens all the time.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Why did he just stop ordering inventory?
Well,
he just didn't want to run it anymore?
Yeah, so you have that. We have people that, ramp down advertising spend, for instance. Because it's more cash flow in their pocket because of the settlement on Amazon.
You have to be really keep a careful eye on people when you're about to close.
Yeah. So one of the, I think the selling points of us as a buyer is that we're institutionally backed, so we're cash buyers, and we're able to close within 30 days. So that window of being able to kind of like mess it up and fumble it at the goal line is pretty short. So we did one deal it took 8 days to close. So
wow,
we're getting really efficient. We got a great team that handles diligence. So
talk about the future of Amazon e-commerce, and then I want to talk about a little bit of the future of where you see the acquisition side going.
Yeah, I think it's up for debate all the time is who's going to usurp Amazon, and we're of the mindset that for the next 5 to 10 years, Amazon has a clear runway. The biggest thing is changing consumer behavior, and you need to look at that and who's going to do that. We just don't see Walmart, we don't see Target doing that, so it's going to be somebody new probably that caters to the millennials. That it's just going to take time. That's going to be more secular change in purchasing behaviors and patterns that's going to kind of usurp Amazon. What we're seeing in discussions with Amazon too is just they're cleaning up the marketplace in terms of, I think the drumbeat's gotten really loud in terms of rogue sellers, hijackers, listing copy. You look at all the steps they're taking to prevent the honest businesses that are trying to build a real business on Amazon. So I think the businesses that are focusing on actually building an Amazon business versus just selling a product on Amazon are the ones that are going to win over time, and that's what Amazon's shifting to protect those sellers. And I think their differentiation is their selection. They've always been about the long tail. So for somebody to come compete with them, they're going to have to build out that marketplace and that network as well, and that's just going to take a long time to do.
Ken, what kind of team do you need to onboard these companies quickly? And you're vetting the companies and you're onboarding them so quickly.
Yeah, we have a large team. As I mentioned, we have 50 people in the company. We have a handful of attorneys that are in-house, specifically to handle migration of the businesses, inventory, etc. We have a great team in New York that handles all of our kind of deal flow and due diligence. And it's just we live and breathe Amazon businesses. That's the only thing we're buying. So we know how to analyze pull all the seller central reports, how to build a P&L in a few hours, and that's one of the beauties of Amazon as a platform is the seller central is the canonical source of data. You can't lie about your P&L, right? You can lie about your expenses, and maybe you can run some advertising on your credit card and things like that. But for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. We know what we're buying, which is, I think, a really idiosyncratic thing in terms of the M&A space that a lot of other companies that are purchasing businesses have to rely on the honesty of the founder, right?
You are getting some kind of accounting statement.
Yeah.
And counting on the P&L.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thanks for sharing your knowledge
Yep.
live from RetailX.
Thank you.